Share screen.
Yes, ma'am, it is there. Otherwise, it would not come.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಹೌದಾ
Hello, ma'am. हाँ है बंद किए। आज को अनम्यूट करूँ क्या? अभी बात करो। बात करके स्टार्ट कर दो। Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, you're audible. Yeah.
We're starting, madam.
Hello.
We're start now, madam.
Okay, fine. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಒಂದು ಇದು ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಇದೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ
Am I audible, madam? Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Good morning and welcome to all to the session. With the blessings of His Holiness Sri Manipura Guru Mahanta Swamiji, the Department of PG Studies of Kaya Chikitsa organized a national webinar series 1 Manvantara 2021. Today we have second lecture by Dr. Suketa Madam, Associate Professor, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, KLS Sri BM Kankanwadi Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Belagavi, on the topic Diet and Lifestyle Management in the Type 2 Diabetes. Now I request Dr. Venkatesh Pulampalli sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, for welcome speech.
Good morning, everyone. We are all gathered in this platform. Oh, very well welcome. Today we have one second lecture of the Manvantara National Webinar Series first. Today I have a guest speaker, Dr. Suketa Madam. The Madam going to give a guest talk over the diet and lifestyle management of type 2 diabetes. I heartily welcome you, Madam, on behalf of PG Department of Kaya Chikitsa and as well as SVM EMC team, Madam. Welcome you, Madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Sridhar Hiramad, second year PG Scholar, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, for guest introduction.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay Acharya. It's my great pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Suketa ma'am. Ma'am born on 24 September 1986. Ma'am completed her undergraduation from RGUSS University in the year of 2009 and post-graduation in the same university in the year of 2014. Ma'am is also completed NPTEL online course on topic Health Research Fundamentals. Ma'am completed diploma course of Nutrition and Health Education course from the IGNOU University. Ma'am published nearly 8 research papers in the national and international journals. Ma'am also did paper presentation in Pallava International Conference organized in the year of 2019. Ma'am given her service as a women patient caretaker under the member of Flood Relief Force KLE BMK. Ma'am provided radio talks on different social issues at KLE Venu Dhwani radio station. Ma'am is having the 7-year experience in teaching experience and 7-year clinical experience as a diabetic specialty clinic. Ma'am well known expert in the treating and management of the diabetes and its complications, hypertension, metabolic syndromes, lipid disorders and liver disorders and skin ailments. At present, ma'am is working as an associate professor, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, KLE Shri BM Kankanawadi Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Belgavi. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sridhar. One notice is there, if after 40 minutes, if the session will be end up, then I request all the participants to rejoin the same in the same link after 40 to 45 minutes. Now I request Dr. Suketa madam to continue the session. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, one and all. Thanks for the beautiful introduction. And with the blessings of Swamiji, I want to start my presentation. I wholeheartedly acknowledge principal and management of Sri Vijay Mahantesh Ayurveda Medical College and Postgraduate Research Center, Ilekali. My special gratitude to Department of Kaya Chikitsa, Professor and HOD, Dr. P.V. Joshi, PG students and all UG students for considering me in this webinar. So I'll start with my presentation. Hope I am audible and visible.
Yes,
my
madam.
slides are visible.
Yes,
Yeah.
madam.
Thank you. So one of the burning issue currently in the present scenario, that is type 2 diabetes mellitus. So the type 2 diabetes mellitus is such a disease where the intervention of diet and lifestyle measures are very important, because this disease is related with the lifestyle. Type 2 diabetes mellitus needs to be managed with the main stream of diet and lifestyles. So considering this into account, I have taken this topic for today's presentation. Hope it is useful for UG and PG scholars and all who are present over here. So I'll begin with what is diabetes mellitus. So everybody knows that diabetes is a chronic disease that occurs with 2 reasons. So mainly, the one is the pancreas is no longer to make the insulin, one reason. Another is we have the good number of insulin, but the body cannot make good use of the insulin which is produced. Okay, so this is called as diabetes. One thing is I have made it simpler. One is the pancreas is not able to make the insulin, the pancreas insufficiency. Beta cells of islets of Langerhans are not able to produce the insulin from the pancreas, or when the body cannot make good use of insulin, it produces. So already we have insulin surge in the blood, but there is no proper usage of it, or it is called insulin resistance, called as diabetes mellitus. So I'm telling that insulin. So what is this insulin? It is a hormone produced by the pancreas. So this hormone is a key. It is a key to let the glucose to go into the cells of the muscles, the arteries and liver. Like that. Okay. So it is a hormone made by the pancreas. This acts because I have some network issues. Now it is resolved. I am audible.
Yes, yes, madam.
Okay. Fine. Sorry for the interruption. So what is insulin? Insulin is a hormone by the pancreas. Okay. So this insulin is a key to let the glucose from the food we eat pass from the bloodstream into the cells in the body to produce energy. Okay. Without insulin, whatever the glucose is present in the blood cannot be carried into the cells of the body. Okay. So when the insulin is there, that will let the glucose, it act as a key to let the glucose to go into the cells. Okay. So that's why when we eat food, there will be production of insulin. Okay. So that will let the glucose to go into from the bloodstream into the cells to produce the energy. So this is the function of insulin in brief. Okay. So that's why we need insulin. So before going to the type 2 diabetes, I'll just brief you out what is type 1 also. There are mainly two kinds of diabetes. One is type 1 diabetes, another is type 2 diabetes mellitus. So there are so many varieties are there. However, I'll consider two important for your just important understanding. There are mainly two kinds of diabetes, the type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. The type 1 diabetes is a rare kind of diabetes. Approximately about 10% of the population will be having this. It is primarily caused by the destruction of the cells in the pancreas. Okay. So what happens here? The pancreas itself is disrupted, or it is not functioning properly to make the hormone insulin. So in type 1 diabetes, what happens? The destruction of the cells in the pancreas takes place that make the hormone insulin. So what pancreas has to do? It has to produce the insulin hormone, right? But already it is destructed. So in the type 1 diabetes, this was the main reason. It will not produce the insulin. So there is destruction of the cells in the pancreas. So it is called an autoimmune disease in body. Mistakenly makes the antibodies. So body mistakenly make the antibodies which will attack the cells in the pancreas. Hope you are getting. Antibodies are produced and attacking on the body's own cells. That in respect to type 1 diabetes, these the antibodies produced are attacking the cells in the pancreas. It is called autoimmune disease. So because of this antibody production and attacking on the cells in the pancreas, there will be destruction of the cells in the pancreas. In turn, there is no production of insulin. So that is the reason in type 1 diabetes, we need insulin should be supplemented externally, right? So this is called type 1 diabetes, which is rarer kind and cause only 10% of the population. Okay. So now we move on to the main condition which we are dealing today is type 2 diabetes mellitus, which is very common variety. It is commonly seen and it is about 90% of all diabetes having type 2, all diabetes are type 2 diabetes. Okay. What is the pathophysiology in type 2 diabetes? In type 2 diabetes, where insulin is inactive. In the first case, I told you that there is no production of insulin only because of the destruction of the cells in the pancreas. However, in type 2 diabetes, it is of a very common variety, and about 90% of all diabetes are suffering with this, where insulin is inactive. The insulins are produced whenever we eat food, insulin will be released, but this produced insulin is inactive. Why it is inactive? Which is shut down in the receptor cells in the artery walls. Okay, these cells are not acting properly, or there is no proper reception, and other cells in the muscles and in the fatty liver. Okay, because of these three reasons, there is no insulin sensitivity in these receptor cells in the artery walls, or also other cells in the muscles and also in the fat. Okay, so because of these reasons, there will be shutdown of the insulin sensitivity. That's why insulin insensitivity takes place, or there will be insulin resistance, which is called as type 2 diabetes mellitus. Okay, so the type 2 diabetes is wherein there will be insulin resistance or insulin insensitivity. Always insulin should be very sensitive. It should go to the cell, it should open the walls of the cells to release the glucose into the cells. But because of this insensitivity or insulin resistance, because of the problem in the receptors, it causes insulin resistance. So that is called as type 2 diabetes mellitus. So the net result is, because of this insulin insensitivity, lack of functioning of the insulin takes place. So lack of insulin functioning takes place. Net result is body tends to make more and more insulin. So what happens? The insulin is not reaching into the cells. So why? Because of that, because the insulin is insensitive. So what cells are telling? They are hungry. They are carving. So what they say? We need insulin. So it sends a signal to the brain, and because of that, still more and more insulin is produced from pancreas and even from the liver. So there is more and more insulin surge into the bloodstream, and there is more and more insulin. Blood glucose level continue to stay high only. Okay, this is the resultant of lack of functioning of insulin. In this picture, you can see the insulin and glucose and the insulin receptor cells. In the second picture, when the insulin is acting at the insulin receptor cells, this glucose will enter into the cells. Okay, so this is how the insulin works. However, insulin insensitivity causes this key will not be get open, or there is no reception in the cells, so the glucose will not enter into the cells. So this is why the blood glucose level is continued to stay high. Okay. So the type 2 diabetes mellitus is produced as an end result of diet and lifestyle. I'll explain what are the causes for this insulin resistance or insulin insensitivity, etc. So because of this, hormone insulin spikes, which floods into the bloodstream to take the glucose out of the blood and into the liver and muscles. Glucose is keep on converted into glycogen. Okay, whatever this glucose has been produced, which keep on converted into glycogen. So what happens? This glycogen stores as a fat. So this is the reason the fat collection is more, because of the more glucose which is converting into glycogen and stored in the liver as fat. Okay, so that's why the myths of the our dietary management is fat is not turning into fat. Here the glucose which is turning into fat and it is stored. So okay, so why glucose fat is collected? Because of this extra glucose which is converting into stored as a fat only. Okay, that's why you can see the literature where it is clearly mentioned that glucose will turn into fat. That's why carbohydrate food, those who are intake of carbohydrate food is more are tending into fat, but not the healthy fat which is turns into fat and stores. Okay, healthy fat helps to heal and it is low of carbohydrate. That's why, so we have to consider the proper dietary management in type 2 diabetes mellitus, considering what component causes what problem, right? So another reason, if glucose levels keep on high along with genetic susceptibility is there, like family history is there, there is insulin insensitivity, which leads to insulin resistance. So whole system tips to state of inflammation. There is more increase of inflammation in the future side. And another thing is when the insulin is keep on producing, pancreas get hurt or it is get strained. So in the future, this pancreas no longer works, and in future it will not be produced more insulin. So in this stage, there is need of the artificial insulin to be produced. Okay, so that's why the insulin non-insulin dependent or the type 2 is in future is after chronicity will attain into type 1 diabetes, where insulin should be produced after few years or when pancreas is not working. That too, this stage will happen when the insulin has to be produced stage occurs more when the people are taking more pharmacological drugs. Okay, pharmacological management, like those who are taking sulfonylureas and other drugs which are anti-diabetic, those which more act on the pancreas to release more insulin and keep on going on, and one fine day that pancreas will not be cooperative and it will not produce insulin whenever required. And finally, there is there is more insulin there is problem with the production of insulin, and the artificial insulin has to be produced, called as insulin dependency, right? So why I am telling that insulin resistance, why this insulin resistance causes? What is the reason for insulin resistance? So main reason is metabolic causes being obesity. Those persons who are more obese are more having insulin resistance, and especially due to sedentary lifestyle. Okay, due to sedentary lifestyle, this insulin resistance takes place. And diet high in simple carbohydrates, the food which are more carbohydrate rich or simple carbohydrates. So diets which are high in simple carbohydrates are more prone for insulin resistance. Some of the diseases conditions like heart disease will tend to more insulin resistance and leading to diabetes. And the PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, having more insulin resistance. These are one and linked, like obesity with PCOS leading to insulin resistance is also there. Those who are sedentary having also obesity is there. Okay, these are interlinked. We can't consider like different conditions, different leading to insulin. It's not like that. One or the other are linked. Again, see, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Fatty liver disease is also again related with the sedentary lifestyle only and diet intake simple carbohydrates only. And but in a bifurcation, we can consider like this. And some of the risk factors which develops type 2 diabetes with the insulin resistance is family history. Okay, those who have family history, genetic susceptibility is are more prone for type 2 diabetes due to some hormonal imbalances like excessive androgen levels and less testosterone levels and decreased and this one adrenals and increased cortisol levels. Steroids and certain medications are also one of the cause for the type 2 diabetes. And sleep deprivation is one of the reason. Due to sleep deprivation, there is no proper metabolism and stress level will increase, and there is a disturbance in the hormonal levels that also causes. And smoking is also one of the reason for causing insulin resistance. So these are in a nutshell, we can consider these are the causes for insulin resistance, like mainly obesity, sedentary lifestyle, no active activity or inactive all the day, and food which are high in simple carbohydrates. I'll explain what are the foods in future slides. And those who are having heart disease, those who are suffer with PCOS. PCOS is again related with obesity and sedentary lifestyle. Thin PCOS have no insulin resistance. That is, obese PCOS have insulin resistance. And fatty liver disease also tends to insulin resistance, that to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or NASH. And with the family history or genetic background, we will have more risk for type 2 diabetes. And hormonal imbalance, as I said, causes insulin resistance. Steroids and certain medications also reason. And sleep deprivation is also one of the reason. And smoking. Like that, the causes has to be ruled out. What are the main consequences of overloaded insulin? Overloaded insulin will promote the storage of fat. Okay, more and more insulin is produced because of the more glucose collected in the blood sugar, glucose level in the blood. This glucose is not reaching to cells, so it is keep on collecting in the blood. This will turn into fat, so it is stored in the fat. This is one of the consequences of overloaded insulin. Along with that, cholesterol level and triglycerides will increases. Okay, so we think that food intake, fat intake will causes more cholesterol level. It is not so. When we take more fat, more glucose, or when we have more glucose, or when you think simple carbohydrates, which turns into glucose and which is flooded in the blood and which turns into cholesterol levels more, and also it increases triglycerides. The kidney will retains more water and salts, leading to hypertension. Along with this, hope I am audible. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Okay. Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So because of this, there will be internal global warming. We think that the diabetes is just a increase in blood sugar, but not like that. The blood sugar increased will keep on increasing the different problems, like we call it as internal global warming. Like it causes high cholesterol, it causes heart disease, it leads to PCOS, polycystic diseases, underactive thyroid. There will be sluggish metabolism will be seen. That's why there will be underactive thyroid takes place. There will be worsening memory. So memory will be worsened and person will be having low mood. There will be stress and anxiety associated with it. And people develop fatigue because of the lack of glucose in the blood cells of the muscles, and brain is become fogged. There will be fatigue and person keep on gaining weight because of this storage of fat with glucose, which turns into fat. Okay, so this is how the multi-angle symptom will be seen. That is called as internal global warming. Okay, so we have to think in multi-way while treating diabetes, not only concentrating on increasing or decreasing blood sugar levels, looking at it, but we have to think in the different angles. So whole system approach is needed while treating type 2 diabetes mellitus. So next I will highlight little bit regarding problem with the drugs and type 2 diabetes mellitus. So when this problem occurs, blood sugar level will increase and HbA1c will shoot up. Then what the conventional people will do, or the conventional medicine says, they start with the anti-diabetic drugs. So the pharmacological management of drugs and their consequences or the complications will be discussed here. See, there are different group of drugs, but while looking into that, the risk is more than the benefits. Of course, it will temporarily solve the problems by decreasing the blood sugar levels, but it is not the permanent solution. More risk than the benefits. That's why we call it as benefits overweight the risk. So there are group of drugs which are mentioned, like the biguanides, which are commonly used, called as metformin, is one of the safe. Among that, one of the safest is metformin, called as biguanide groups. So this metformin is one what action it is having. So this metformin will increase the insulin sensitivity in the muscles so that they can take up the more glucose, right? So this metformin will increase the insulin sensitivity in the muscle. So it is needed in type 2 diabetes, right? So there is sensitivity of the insulin was decreased. So to increase that, we need something. So this metformin will do that. So that will take up the more glucose. Along with that, it sensitizes the liver also to not to produce more glucose. There is one process called as gluconeogenesis. So the gluconeogenesis, where the non-carbohydrate source of food will turn into glucose. So that process takes place when there is insulin insensitivity. So this metformin will stop that also. Insulin it sensitizes liver to not release much of the glucose, and at the same time increase insulin sensitivity in the muscles so that they can take up the more glucose. So this is the function of this metformin. However, this has so many side effects. Biguanides, where metformin has so many, especially it causes gastrointestinal symptoms. The person who are continuously taking metformin will develop the nausea, loose stools. Along with that, vitamin B12 deprivation, which is not good for diabetes because it completely causes, it is a complication. It causes complication leading to neuropathy and so on. Okay, that's why metformin is also it is contraindicated in kidney dysfunction. It causes weight loss. This is one. So those who are obese, it is usually prescribed, but it causes metformin. Metformin causes weight loss because it loses the muscles no more than fat. Those the person is having more wasting, muscle wasting, and very lean. So this is the side effect of metformin. So one thing. Another is sulfonylurea drugs called amarils, fugakuns, or diamicrons. So these drugs, what they do is they will stimulate the cells in the pancreas to produce more insulin. Okay, this sulfonylureas will produce stimulate the pancreas. So this sulfonylureas will stimulate the pancreas to produce more insulin, right? So that's why more and more insulin will be surged into the blood, and excess blood glucose will turn into fat. So the major drawback of this, always sulfonylurea is a bad news. It is not at all good for diabetes. Those who start this sulfonylureas usually call it as glimepirides, right? In the prescription we can see. So these drugs are very bad news. They flood into the bloodstream to take glucose in the blood, and it turns into fat in the liver and the muscle. Okay, and it gives to the muscle also. But the overall continuous intake of sulfonylureas is not suitable for type 2 diabetes. It makes a person permanently diabetic. So this is the consequence of this sulfonylureas. And next group of drug is these TZDs or glitazones. They act as a metformin only, but they are higher version drugs. These drugs also causes insulin sensitivity by sensitizing the cells to pass the glucose into the cells. So the major drawback of these drugs is it causes more and more weight gain. It causes fluid retention. Whenever fluid retention means, it is a rise risk for kidney and heart conditions, and it is linked with osteoporosis. So this is the drawback of glitazones. Lastly, GLP-1 peptide activators or DPP-4 inhibitors called as sitagliptins, vildagliptins. So these also act like a sulfonylureas, and it releases. So they activate the GLP-1 peptides, which are released when in the gut when you eat, which trigger the insulin. So these drugs are as a substitute for sulfonylureas, but they also causes weight drop. They causes progressive weight drop, whereas sulfonylureas doesn't do that. They cause weight gain. But these drugs are told as cancerous, and it also causes tear symptoms. So many side effects of these drugs make the people not to take because continuously. But the solution is, because aggressive drug treatment is not the answer, because it progresses the disease and it leads to complications. So that's why aggressive drug treatment is not the answer. Tapering the dose and reversing the diabetes is one of the major our motto, instead of keep on giving the aggressive drugs. And it is leads to complications also. So this is called internal global warming. And go for natural alternatives by changing the body's ecology through nutrition and lifestyle changes. So this is how the approach should be in the management of type 2 diabetes. So you need to diagnose the type 2 diabetes by doing the different tests. I'll not go in detail of that. You have to go with HbA1c, fasting insulin, HOMA-IR parameters, and you have to come to the conclusion that what is the insulin status in the body. Along with that, you have to do HbA1c test to consider that how well it is controlled since long term. Okay, don't depend on fasting, RBS, and postprandial. You have to go for further tests like glucose tolerance test and HbA1c to see that how long it is well controlled in the blood. And also you should see the insulin level by doing HOMA-IR parameters. So a proven way forward is to reverse the diabetes and return to good health, and through lifestyle and nutritional approach by right advice and lifestyle changes. So there are advices which are not properly done. So the drug treatment is going on and proper dietary management has been not given. It is not possible to reverse the diabetes or control the diabetes. So that is one of the important steps we need to take. So I'll go with some of the important measures in type 2 diabetes. What are the important measures to be taken? 7 to 8 measures I'll explain today, which are very important in the management of type 2 diabetes. First thing is low glycemic load diet. Glycemic load, okay, it should be low. Whatever the diet we are taking, which should be having low glycemic load. That kind of food should be taken. Okay, so what is this? I'll go in little deep about this. So before knowing glycemic load, glycemic index of the food should be known. Okay, so the what is glycemic index of the food? The glycemic index is a scale that compares the levels to which different foods rise your blood sugar with the effect of pure glucose. The standard taken is pure glucose. So we have to see the scale that compares the level to which different food rise your blood sugar, especially carbohydrate foods. Okay, so that is called as glycemic index of the food. Okay, so how much it is raised as per the different foods in the blood sugar level. Okay, with the effect of pure glucose. In this picture, you can see blood glucose levels increase. The area increased is the glycemic index of the glucose, which is showing 100. Okay, whereas in the below picture, the area the glycemic index of the apple, this area is only 39 compared to the above. It is very low, right? So this is called as glycemic index of food. How fastly it is absorbed in the blood sugar, absorbed in the blood is called as glycemic index of the food. Okay, so when you eat glucose, it causes immediate release of the glucose. When you eat the simple sugar or glucose powder, it immediately rises the blood sugar level, and that's why its glycemic index is considered as 100. It is calculated based on the area, and in the at the same time, if you take the glycemic index of apple, it is absorption is the whole apple. Absorption is calculated how it is released in the blood. Glucose is released in the blood. It is taking around 39. Area taking around 39. So the glycemic index, low glycemic food should be taken. But this much is not sufficient because it confuses sometimes. Here you can see some of the food ingredients, like the glycemic index of different foods like sugars, fruits, and grains and grain products. You can see cereals, pulses, and their glycemic index. You can see the maltose is 105, glucose is 100, honey is 55, like that. See, watermelon is 72, like that. Okay, apple is 38. So many, you can get this list thoroughly in any website. You will get this, books also you get this. And here you can see the glycemic index of French fries is 75, carrot is 47, chocolate is 47. So one thing which makes us confusing, or to plan the diet, how we can go for. So you can see the glycemic index of carrot is 47. At the same time, chocolate is also coming same, 49, only 2 points. However, it is very near. But carrot is more nutritious in terms of its nutritional values, vitamins, minerals, etc., compared to chocolate, which is nothing. Okay, whereas at the another example, French fries, you can see, which is a trans fat using different oils what we get in market, which is not good for health, which is fat. So it is 75. And here you can see watermelon is also coming around 72. So considering the glycemic index, you will go for, we think that which is also, this is also better, that is also better. You can go for the tasty food, that French fries, you can go for, but it is not so. The nutrition value of the food should also be considered along with the glycemic index. That's why we need to know the glycemic load of the food. Okay, glycemic load of the food is different from glycemic index. Here I have shown the tables with all the food with glycemic index, but when come to the glycemic load, it is different. Glycemic food load of the food is basically the glycemic index of the food is multiplied by serving size. It tells what the specific serving is. It will tell you the specific serving is, how much to eat and what should be eaten. Okay, whereas glycemic index simply tells this how it is released into the blood. Whereas glycemic load will tell you the specific serving, what the specific serving is. How it is calculated? Glycemic index load is calculated by glycemic index of that particular food divided by 100. Okay, glycemic index of the score of that food divided by 100, and which is multiplied by the amount of carbohydrate in that 100 gram of serving. Okay, so first we see the glycemic index of that food, which is divided by 100, and the resultant will be multiplied by the amount of carbohydrate in that 100 gram of serving. Hope you're getting. So I'll take example of watermelon only. Its glycemic index as shown in the previous slide, it is 72. It is coming 72, right? So 72 is divided by 100. Next, resultant will be multiplied by the carbohydrate in that serving. One piece of watermelon, how much carbohydrate is that? Okay, so which is coming 6. So we will multiply the 72 by 100 into 6. So the glycemic index coming nearly only 4, which is pretty low, right? So you can see the glycemic load is very low. So if you go to the French fries, the glycemic load is coming more. Okay, so that's why. So you have to see the glycemic load of the food. So watermelon is very nutritious and it is having good amount of minerals and vitamins. So we have to opt for watermelon, right? So again, how to eat, that is important. How much to eat, that is also important. We can't, so yes, watermelon is good. You can't eat whole fruit, right? So that is not possible. I'll tell that in future slides, right? So this is an important step to be followed while planning the diet or while taking the food if you are diabetic. Okay, so the glycemic load of the food should be understood. That is also available. Okay, we no need to calculate that. Glycemic load of the particular food will be asked, and it is available in the nutrition books. Okay, so the low glycemic food should be taken. So what we have to do? Low glycemic food are the foods that release their sugar content very slowly. Always opt for low glycemic load foods. 2 ways. One is eating no or few carbohydrates which are low glycemic. Low glycemic carbohydrates should always be taken. So carbohydrate is not good for diabetes, we sold, but at the same time we can't live without carbohydrates. So always opt for low glycemic load carbohydrates. For example, oats and berries are the examples which are low glycemic load carbohydrates. Another thing is combine to reduce the glycemic. When you reduce the glycemic load, when we eat any complex carbohydrates, we have to include some proteins and small amount of healthy fat in it. Then the glycemic load of any food will be reduced. Hope you are getting. Always we have to combine the carbohydrate with protein. So if you are taking a cup of dalia, then you add some proteins in it. Okay, chickpeas or some peas like that, or includes more vegetables mixed dalia. And so a small amount of healthy fat is added like ghee or coconut oil, then it decreases its glycemic load. Okay, so this is how we have to plan the food to reduce the glycemic load of the food. And next, per day, how many glycemic load can be taken? So in a day, maximum about 45 glycemic load food can be included throughout meals, all meals, morning to night. Okay, so eat 45 glycemic load every day. So this is how the meal plan should be. Okay, so low glycemic load foods, eat for that you have to include some of the low glycemic carbohydrates, because carbohydrate is also necessary for the body. So to decrease the glycemic load of the food, complex carbohydrate is always mixed with proteins and foods to have small amount of healthy fat to reduce the glycemic load. Always take less glycemic load foods. So throughout the day, you can take up to 45 glycemic load every day. Okay, so the number should not be more than that. This is how the meal plan considering the glycemic load. Next thing is increase more and more soluble fibers in your diet. Okay, so soluble fibers are rich in fiber, high in fiber, which naturally have low glycemic load. Okay, it is linked to the first one. The high fiber diet will always have low glycemic load. So what are the contents which are having soluble fibers and can be included in the diet, especially whole grains and brands? Okay, they're not polished. Never go for polished. It is direct, it is like direct sugar, it is direct glucose only. So that's why always go for whole grains and their with brands. So that's why we always tell the patient, for example, one example, in breakfast we advise patient to take Godi Nuchu. So okay, broken wheat, especially Jave Godi we suggest. In Kannada we call Jave Godi. So that is very good. And we take the broken variety and we do the upma out of that. And that is very good. So that is called whole grain and with their brands. So no need to polish it. And that is very rich in fiber and which naturally have low glycemic. It slowly releases in the blood. So it is filling also, include vegetables, proteins in that, and you can eat. So this is how the whole grains and brands with brands will helpful. And include more and more beans and lentils. We have plenty of beans in our food intake, especially in North Karnataka belt. We use more and more beans. Okay, so moong, matki, chawli, so many. There are plenty of beans are available and easily available, and you can sprout and eat. Always more go for raw, so that it's like no need, don't cook, put in the cooker and boil it. Just make a little steam it, or you can use, or raw also you can use. And plenty of lentils also good for diabetes. Include more and more nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are having of course soluble fibers. Along with that, they are good with omega-3 fatty acids. The natural healing fat is there in that. That's why you have to include more and more of that, like chia seeds, peanuts, flax, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, and almond. Okay, rich in omega-3 also. So these nuts and seeds are very important in diabetes. Always use raw and lightly cooked vegetables. Always use, the liveliness of the food should be there when you are taking any food. Okay, so this will be good for the liver to detoxify. That's why raw and lightly cooked vegetables are useful. Okay, you know that liver having fatty changes, so that has to be corrected with doing this procedure. And always eat fruit with its skin, and it is fruit should be taken as a whole, not like its skin is removed and it is put in the mixture and make it juice and eat. In fact, juice having no fiber. Always eat the whole fruit. Okay, so this is the measure to include more soluble fibers to release less glucose, slow release of glucose into the blood. Okay, so that is very important thing. Next is what are the benefits of soluble fibers? It helps to coat the food, right, and digestive tract in a way that slow down the release of sugar from the food. Okay, it slow down the release of sugar from the food by doing this. It makes feel fuller. So diabetic patients should not eat frequently. They have to have some feeling of fuller, because whenever you eat, insulin will release. Already insulin sensitivity is there, right? So we should feel fuller when you take any kind of food. Okay, there should be some gap for next meals. Keep on eating will cause again release of insulin. It should not happen. Okay, and that's why fuller meals should be taken. That's why I add more the eggs in the food and some of the more and more beans and lentils, so that person will feel fuller. And it attaches to the bad cholesterol in the gut and helps to eliminate it. So what is the job of this soluble fibers? So bad cholesterol will be removed, LDL, and it also triglycerides, and it helps to eliminate from that. So this is the major job of soluble fibers. So these pictures, and you will definitely get the results. So considering this into account, some of the simple changes can be made, like eating oats porridges, which are rich in beta-glucans, which beta-glucans are very important to reverse the diabetes. Use barley instead of wheat. Okay, barley is good instead of wheat. Only thing is, in the name of barley, so many things are sold, but always use for properly what barley with this structure. Okay, instead of wheat, you can use that. Eat more beans, lentils, and chickpeas, black chickpeas. Okay, so this is already told. It can be one of the superfood in this diabetes. Also, another superfoods in diabetes are chia seed, flax seed. Flax is agase called in Kannada, if you are well aware of that. Pumpkin seeds, walnuts, and almonds. Eat plenty. You can soak it in the night. As the seed powder, can be soaked, and morning you can eat it, or you can make it a salad dressing. In the salad dressing, as a salad dressing also it can be used. So considering fruits in concern, I always use low glycemic load fruits. Better is options is berries, cherries, and plums, or you can use apples and citrus fruits. But when eating fruits, don't eat in the like as a singly, you have to mix it with the food and you have to reduce its glycemic load and you have to eat. Along with that, Ayurveda has a great importance in changes can be made. Take Ayurveda herbs, okay, with the prescription from the doctor. Like example, cinnamon is best to reduce insulin resistance. Jambu is proven to be anti-diabetic. Gudumar or Meshashrangi is proven to be best anti-diabetic. Like that, so many herbs are there, and we are doing so many researches. Vijaya Sara is there, Asana, Nisha Kataka, etc. Okay, so these some simple changes required to reverse the diabetes. Next thing, important thing, which is the like highlighter, is eat the fat that heals and avoid the fat that kills. So when the matter of fat comes, we always think that fat is not good for the body, but it is not true always. Okay, so here what is the problem? Both diabetes and heart disease is due to sugar and not because of the fat. Throughout my seminar, you could have understood that how fat is collected in the liver, right? Everywhere. So sugar, which is flooded in the blood, is turning into fat, right? So, but we claim that fat should not be taken. It is not so. What kind of fat should not be taken? It is a processed meat, hydrogenated oils, fried food, and sugary foods are the fats which are not good for it. Whereas not good for diets. Whereas the fats which are healing, which are very necessary for the good, are to be taken. Always simple low fat should be taken. So in the picture you can see the fish which is rich in omega-3, cold water oily fish. Higher fat, low glycemic load diet reduces risk of diabetes. Why we should recommend little fat in our diet? Because always the food which is having good fat, always low in carbohydrate. Okay, so that's why always we have to concentrate that carbohydrate low food should be taken. So that's why always plan for the food which are low in carbohydrate, which is always high in fat. If you plan high carbohydrate food, which is always low in fat, and it is not filling and it will cause immediate hungry. So that's why always plan the food which is high in fat, good fat, and low in glycemic load, right? So we recommend eggs to be taken, or raw nuts and seeds, okay, which are very good and lowest carb and good fat, have good indicator in diabetes, heart disease, and lipid profile. Looking into fish, you think that I don't like fish and how it can be. So don't, it is a good news for you. It is equally important to take some of the seeds and serve, which are substitute for fish. Okay, don't worry, fish is very smelly and I can't take, then it is you have substitutes. Okay, so include raw nuts. So flaxseed is one of the best omega-3, and other nuts like walnut is omega-3 rich, and even almond and other seeds, pumpkin seeds, etc. So eat the fat that heals and avoid the fat that kills. Always keep in mind, right? So avoid the fat that kills are like processed meat, hydrogenated oils, fried foods, and obviously sugary foods, which turns into fat. Okay, so please remember this. Otherwise, you can use it liberally without any hesitation, so that you are, like, for example, intake of 1 egg in the afternoon meal, or intake of some seeds, peanut chutneys, flaxseed chutneys along with the food, it will increase your fullness, and it will, you don't become hungry more often. So this is very important, and you can include the protein along with that. Okay, like, so including dals, beans, and lentils, right? So this is the plan you can make while planning that diabetes, or if you are diabetic, you can adopt this. So next thing, I am talking about the good fats, especially omega-3 fats and their benefits in type 2 diabetes. So richest source of this is cold water oily fish. As I told you before, if you don't have this option or you don't like this, chia, flax, and pumpkin are the options, right? One of the omega-3 is EPA, which is anti-inflammatory, which undo the damage caused by glycation. Another omega-3 is DHA, which improves the insulin sensitivity in muscles, which is necessary for diabetes, right? And also it raises the level of hormone called adiponectin, which helps to burn the sugar rather than rising in as fast. Okay, so it helps to burn the sugar rather than storing it as fat. Okay, so the adiponectin, which helps to burn the sugar instead of storing it as fat. So this is necessary, right? So it should not be stored. More and more fat storage is dangerous. It will store anywhere and it causes complications. So the omega-3 will be helpful to burn the sugar rather than storing it as fat. Okay. So increase the antioxidants and delivery foods. Right. So you all know that insulin resistance is also due to inflammation and oxidation. More oxidative stress is also one of the reasons, and there is inflammation. So it causes damage to the insulin receptors and arteries and livers, in the muscles, arteries and livers. So insulin resistance is causing inflammation and oxidation, and also there is damage to the insulin receptors and muscles in the arteries, muscles and livers. So to correct this, we have to go for liver friendly food. So to reverse this damage, you have to go for antioxidants, which is very important, and also liver friendly foods and nutrients. So this is the area where Ayurveda can do much better, because in Ayurveda we have so many liver friendly foods and liver detoxifiers and nutrients. Okay, so this is the area where we have to do more and more things to detoxify the liver, and there is so many principles explained in Ayurveda to detoxify the liver, like intermittent fasting is told, and 2 meal methods, everything which will be very beneficial to reverse the diabetes by doing changes in the correcting the fatty liver conditions or correcting the liver, right? So some of the important antioxidant nutrient foods I have listed here, or pictures have been displayed. It's very important, like cruciferous vegetables are very good for liver. Okay, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, and also some of the root vegetables like onions, garlics, and also free range organic eggs are very good nutrients for liver. So this should be increased more, along with that intermittent fasting or giving the body to some relaxed time or liver to detoxify. So this is very important, along with other measures. Some of the herbs which are very important in liver detoxification is one is Cilibium marinatum, which is known as milk thistle, which increases insulin sensitivity. I think in some of the proprietary companies are giving these tablets, milk thistle tablets, Silimarin something is there. So that is very good for insulin sensitivity to increase. Another is Gemnimia sylvestra, Meshashrangi, or called as Gudumar. It is substitute as a sugar also. Both glucose level and glycosylated hemoglobin will be decreased by using this. There are plenty of there. I have listed only few, considering it as important. Another is cinnamon, called tuak, okay, which is very good for, usually we tell the cinnamon water in the morning to take those who are obese type 2 diabetes. Okay, it will remove the excess sugar from the bloodstream, and it reduces bad cholesterol in the blood, and it helps to remove the fat level, and it decreases the blood pressure. So this is how the herbs will be helpful in diabetes. So we keep on telling that what not to eat and etc. Now we have to consider what you are drinking to. So drinking the aerated drinks, juices are not good. Okay, cold drinks. Okay, so say no to the drinks, alcohol, which is like which causes oxidative damage, and so release of inflammation is there. That's why this should be avoided, especially at least during the reversal period or bringing normalcy. Always go yes for plain waters, soups and porridges and herbal drinks, green tea and herbal teas. Always go for this as alternative. Even coffee is not indicated in diabetes because it is genetically modified, and it initially it activates the cortisol, but over time it causes problem. So people become again addicted to that, and it is not working, right? So that is not a good solution. We have to go for the root cause to treat. Okay. So break free from stress and get enough sleep. Okay. So always you should break free from stress and should get enough sleep. Without this, your body can't rejuvenate. So if person is not sleeping properly and no enough sleep is for because of all these caffeinated drinks and stress, so the diabetes cannot be controlled. Because when you are stressful and you are not having good sleep, cortisol will go high. When cortisol go high, it will cause us excess glycogenesis. So when glycogenesis takes place, ultimately blood glucose level will be raised. So another hormone is adrenal. This should be always good, but when it go down, it stops its action of fight or flight. Okay, so what it do, this adrenal and cortisol in a combination, if they are in normal, they help to raise the glucose supply to muscle and brain cell, which is needed, right? This cortisol and adrenal will do fight or flight response. So whenever there is lack of glucose to the brain and cells, what they do, they will sensitize us and make the supply of the blood to the brain and whether needed muscles and cells. Okay, so but when it is go down, it stops its action of fight or flight. Person become insulin resistant. So break free from the stress and enough sleep. The person who is stressful, whatever the treatment you go will not, because of this problem only. Adrenal is not working, cortisol is high, and person will not get enough sleep. If you don't sleep, you can't exercise. Okay, the proper sleep is needed, and when adrenal is going down, whatever activity you do will not work only because of this problem. Okay, so the keeping the normalcy of the hormones is very important. So for that, you have to be break free from stress and should get enough sleep. So then only, so to how to be break free from stress, should identify the problem, what is exactly the problem, change the lifestyle by doing some yoga, pranayamas, and maintain the sleep pattern, and how to get rid of the stress, work on that, what can be charted out to get rid of stress, and what activities can be included so that stress can be reduced, and not taking any caffeinated drinks or alcohol, smoking, these all influences on the stress level. So maintaining a healthy lifestyle, that is a big chapter. I think today I can't cover the stress, how to relieve from the stress. So keeping normalcy of the cortisols and adrenals is very important to maintain the diabetes level. So the next measure is taking regular exercise. So people tell that I do this much kilometers of walking, still I don't get any results. So again, the regular exercise is influenced with the hormonal levels. When you are normal, you don't have stress and you're getting good sleep, then only exercise. Otherwise, exercise is of no use. You have to be normal with your body and mind, then only you can do the exercise. And what kind of exercise is important? See, to burn the calorie, exercise is not much beneficial because you do so many exercises, it burns only some calories. Maybe one breakfast will be sorted out. But intake is important. 80% diet will work, 20% this exercise will work. Okay. Medicine, of course, I'll give 5%. Okay. So take regular exercise, interfere with the body's appetite mechanisms. It interferes with the body's appetite mechanism. It improves the, if a sluggish metabolism is there, rate of metabolism is improved. Only when adrenal body type is there, then this exercise will not help. However, pot belly, fatty liver is there. If fatty liver is observed as pot belly, and PCOD body type is like sagging belly, and especially pear-shaped body with more thighs, etc. So that our body needs exercise, whereas only adrenal body type, if your adrenal is down, then this exercises will increase the condition. Okay, and ability to keep these exercises will ability to keep blood sugar level at stability. So this is how the regular exercise will help. and it improves the muscle mass. So this is very needed because muscles are craving. They are not getting proper glucose because of this insulin insensitivity or resistance. So when you exercise, the insulin sensitivity will be increased and muscles mass will be exercise will improve the muscle mass. Okay. And moderate exercises will improve the appetite, or whenever you do any exercise, after exercise, you don't feel hungry. Okay. So this is commonly observed. Maybe you observed or not. I've seen myself that we do some exercise and we should not eat also. We don't feel hungry. So the body's fat will be utilized and it is converted as sugar, and it helps to compensate. So that's why moderate exercise is needed, and also it improves the flexibility, and it is necessary for appetite mechanism to work properly. So might be you are observed those who do not exercise have exaggerated appetite. They keep on eating. There is no signal only, right? Leptin hormone is silent. So those who don't exercise have exaggerated appetites and pounds gradually creep on, right? So that's why this will maintain the appetite mechanism. That's why moderate exercise is needed. However, you have to see their hormonal levels. If they are stressful, they are not getting sleep, and their adrenal is down by the symptoms, you have to understand that whether how first the root cause has to be corrected, and later you have to advise the exercise. Okay. So exercise have one more benefits. It boosts the metabolic rate. It helps to burn the stored liver fat. It helps to stabilize the blood glucose level and insulin level and stop making it. It improves insulin sensitivity, as I already explained. The exercise will promote growth hormone production. By the production of growth hormone, cortisol level will come down. This is what needed, right? Cortisol level should come down. So along with that, it reduces harm. Exercise has the capacity to reduce the stress. So whenever you feel that I could able to do exercise, little bit exercise can be done so that gradually you can reduce your stress. Okay. So this is one thing. It is difficult, but one point can be considered. So what are the different kind of exercise? Like resistance exercises and some of the aerobic kind of exercises are very useful in diabetes, like sprinting, swimming, cycling, etc. So hard and fast exercise can be done, and a minimum period can be done. Okay, 20 to 30 minutes of exercise per day is sufficient. First warm up for 33 minutes. Do hard and fast exercise for 30 seconds. Like stepping up and down, and you should feel that I can't do next, that like you should feel like done with, like that of feeling you should get, and give a recovery of 90 seconds. Do again like this. You have to do some of the hard and fast exercises which are resistant. Okay, keep on walking and no getting sweating, and no result will be found. That's why the hard and fast exercises will be helpful. You should feel sweating. Along with that, yoga and pranayama, yogic exercises and pranayama, Surya Namaskara will also help. Okay. Resistant, aerobic, yoga and pranayama are the best methods, and it will increase your baseline activity. Right. So this is a little bit about exercises in diabetes. So along with that, I would like to, I made a small plan of diet. So what usually options are given in obese type 2 diabetes? So in the morning drink, some of the options they have given for them, like cinnamon water. I always suggest a patient to add some lemon water in it. For example, cinnamon water is prepared, and in that we tell them to squeeze little lemon so that it neutralizes the stomach acid when after digestion. Okay, lemon after digestion, it neutralizes the stomach acid. This is specialty of lemon. Next, chia seed water, which is rich in omega-3. It has to be one of the option. Methi seed water can be given. Some patient complaints, but it remove the toxins in the body. That's why it is better. No problem when they have loose motions in the initial days. Herbal smoothies can be given as a morning drink option. Next, some of the breakfast options, we have to go for whole grains with protein rich options, and intermittent fasting can be given. Can skip the breakfast for one day in a week or 1 or 2 days. It depends on person's capacity. So always diet is always customized from person to person. We can't generalize all diet, and their traditional values also should be considered. Those who are not eating egg, I can't suggest them to take egg, or those who are not taking jowar roti or these millets, we have to give them substitute. Okay, oats upma with nuts can be one of the options. Millet dosa idli with coconut chutney as a good fat and some of the protein chutneys. Dalia upma with lot of veggies. Okay, egg which is scrambled egg with protein buttermilk. Whole moong dosa can be given. Moong should be whole, like it green moong. Okay, besan dosa can be given. So this is the some of the breakfast options which are rich in protein and which will not spike the sugar. Okay, next option is in the middle. If you are not hungry, no need to take anything. If you are hungry, because the repeated intake is not good, because whenever you eat, insulin will spike. So that's why keep some fasting window. Medicated buttermilk can be given, which will stop the appetite. If you have sluggish metabolism or you are not hungry, you are having bad agni. And in the breakfast, in the lunch options, you can go for a salad first with the low glycemic load fruit. If you are fruits, otherwise fruits, less fruit intake is good. If your food likes fruits, low glycemic load fruit can be taken. Along with that, millet roti, jowar bajra is good. Bajra should be taken sensibly, as it is very hot in potency. And vegetables with lentils, chutneys like flaxseed chutney or peanut chutney with the homemade ghees is the good options. And I can add organic curd in the lunch option. Next, in the evening snacks, people usually feel hungry in this evening time. So good amount of fat and protein has to be added here. Roasted peanuts is good option. Almonds and walnuts are good options. Healthy snacks with green tea is a good option. Can go for some healthy snacks like morning remaining upma can be repeated, or any other snacks can be taken like moong tikkis, or any cabbage rolls, etc. can be taken without any maida or any refined carbs. Night should be very light: barley soup, moong khichadis, millet khichadis. Millet is best in diabetes, as it is, as I said, the glycemic load is very low, and it contains so many of the minerals like magnesium is rich, potassium is there. That's why. And brown rice with vegetables and moong dal are the options. So you should keep a little amount of rotis because it is carbohydrates. If you are don't like rice, you can repeat the rotis in the night also. So it is customized. I just give an idea how it can be planned. And that's all about the diet and lifestyle measures. I would like to end up my presentation with the 12th century Sharana's views on diet. I think we know a lot of Sharanas, they work on the social cause. They have some slogans. There is one slogan says that Akkiya numbuvanu, Hakkiyan taguvanu, Sikku rogadali, Vaidyanige, Rokkavanikkuta sarvajna. So those people know Kannada can understand this better. So don't eat more rice. They will suffer with a lot of diseases. They told in those days only. So Vaidyanige Rokkavanikutiha sarvajna. So the person who takes this will be a permanent patient to the permanent patient, and he can spend a lot of money for his health by visiting doctors. So their views are excellent by those days only. Another slogan I felt it is very apt here. Jolavanu timbuvanu, toladantaguvanu, Bellagalu numbuvanu, bahukala balendu sarvajna. See, Jola, one of the best millet, and its nutrition values has been told. and ಬೇಳೆ ಬೆಲ್ಲಗಳ ನಂಬುವನು ಬಹುಕಾಲ ಬಾಳೆಂದು ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ. Okay, so those who ate beans and lentils, I keep telling that these are very important, which was told in Karnataka long back only, right? So it adds to our presentation. Another last, last but not last, still one more is there. ರಾಗಿಯ ನಂಬುವನು ನಿರೋಗಿ ಎನಿಸುವನು. Ragi is one of the best millet. ರಾಗಿಯು ಭೋಗಗಳಿಗಲ್ಲ ಬಡವರಿಗಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿರುವುದು ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ. Okay, so it is for poorer people, it is added in the diet, but nowadays it is suggested for all because sedentary lifestyle has caused. So this ragi is best for them, everybody. And lastly, navane, one of the millet. ಹವಣಾಗಿ ಇರುತಿಹನು ಬವಣಿಗಳಿಗವನು ಒಳಬೇಡ ಈ ಮಾತು ಟವಣಿಯಲ್ಲೆಂದ ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ. Okay, so overall they are telling the benefits of some of the millets and nutritious foods, and if not, how they suffer with. So this is about the views of Sharnas during those days. So that's all about diet and lifestyle measures in type 2 diabetes. I thank organizers, department, especially department of faculties and students of Kaya Chikitsa, HODs and all faculties of Kaya Chikitsa, and PG scholars who are organizing this beautifully. And thank you, Anand.
Thank you very much, madam, for your valuable, knowledgeable session. The questions are there. Can we discuss, madam?
Yeah, sure.
Madam, first question is whether any changes in diet in type 2 diabetes mellitus area wise, like in Ayurveda they explain desha wise, jangal, like this.
Yes, definitely. We have to consider the desha and the customs of their like practice. So that's why I told when telling the last slide that I can suggest this diet to North Indians, right? So I can't suggest this to South, like Karavali side people. Their food is entirely different. When I'm telling the fish, example of fish, I'm telling you, Kerala people can easily accept that, but we can't, right? So this is how we have to plan the diet. Of course, it changes from place to place, definitely. So that's why I am in Belgaum. So I am more accustomed to the Belgaum diet because all patients surround in and around surrounding Belgaum. Of course, it's similar to your place also. So this, whatever I explained in the last diet chart, of course, it is applicable to our places. When you go to other places, as I said, Goa, it is not possible. Like fish is their food and like that, okay? It changes, definitely.
Thank you, madam. Madam, second question.
Yeah.
Which is better for type 2 diabetes, that is brown sugar or jaggery?
Okay, so both are sugar only, brown sugar or jaggery, whatever. So we have to see the components in it, like nutritional component of the sugar or whatever. So jaggery, when we suggest organic jaggery we always suggest, which is rich in antioxidants. So I told you like glycemic load of the food, like how it influences on the diet. So the rich, which is rich in, you have to see the label of the whatever the food you are taking, non-GMO. It should be always organic. Brown sugar also. So some in jaggery also you can see the colors like yellow colored jaggery, brown colored jaggery. So it is wisely you have to use. So whether you are using jaggery or, and also its antioxidant properties, you have to check. Again, how you use is very important. So how much quantity you are using. When you are using jaggery, so as a payasa, you make some payasa like godi huggi, what we call now. When you add in that, of course, it doesn't cause much problems. In a smaller quantity, you have to take smaller quantity. It doesn't affect much on that, of course. But when you add in the bakery products, right? So the sweets, all these, especially Bengali sweets, whatever sweets you add in this, it is plenty of sugar and almost white sugar is used. So conclusion is that its nutritional point you have to consider while taking any kind of brown sugar or whatever jaggery. I recommend organic jaggery to be used, which is available in the market. Yes.
Thank you, madam.
Hmm.
Next question. Whether type 2 diabetes mellitus is affect to children's?
Yeah, nowadays, the adolescents are most affected. Okay, so the children who are obese, okay, children is not like the born with type 2 diabetes, but as gradually if family history is there, they can develop their lifestyle. If influenced in the early stage only, then adolescents only start developing diabetes. Nowadays, we are getting type 2 diabetes in the adolescents also. Okay, so only genetic susceptibility is main reason. Another is the insulin resistance at the early stage, lack of activities, eating junk foods are influencing the children also. Definitely, it is one of the need of the hour to consider the children diabetic. Yeah, it is.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question, madam. What should be the diet of type 2 diabetes mellitus who is already suffered from COVID-19, madam?
Okay, so there is no much change as inflammation is more in the body if COVID is developed. So as a symptomatic COVID, there is no like initially when diabetes COVID is developed, that time we can't restrict everything. Like they have to eat some light foods. Okay, so fat and all should be avoided, proteins, etc. Initial stage, but when they recovered from the COVID, same diet has to be continued. Okay, because it is rich in antioxidants and it is rejuvenating. So there is no change of diet for COVID recovered patients. Okay, only when they are suffering with fever and so many symptoms, respiratory symptoms, then we can't restrict them. They can eat everything because they have to maintain their immunity that time. So, but COVID recovered, there is no difference. They have to strictly adhere to the whatever the principles of diet. Okay, hope it is clear.
Thank you so much, madam, for a healthy discussion.
Thank you.
Now, I request Dr. Praveen Sajjan, Assistant Professor, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, for vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you, madam. Madam has been explained about the diabetes in very detail and in an organ level, tissue level, what are the changes is happening, how to reverse that. Simple adapting the food, exercise, and sleep. These modules, it leads to the very good outcome in our diabetes management. So, madam, I am very thankful, and on the behalf of our HOD, staff members, and also principal, madam. Thank you, madam. And also I thank principal sir for the supporting us for the conducting the webinar, and I thanks the HOD and the other staff members of our department, and UG students and PG scholars who will ever enthusiastic to conduct these seminars and webinars. And I thank also attendees attendees of the today's webinar. Thank you one and all. Thank you, madam. Once again, thank you, madam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I thank you all the participants for patience listening. Thank you, madam, for your valuable session.
Thank you.
And end of the session, madam.
Okay.